It's Thanksgiving, which means food, family, friends, and football. Week 13 kicks off on Thanksgiving. We got Black Friday, a full slate on Sunday. Plenty to pick here today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Krabs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Joe, happy National Moana 2 release date to you.
Thank you. Big deal around here. We're going to take my daughter to the movies for the first time to see that.
We're going to 1:30.
Wow. So you're in on that too.
Yeah.
Have you been to a movie with?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so you had no idea what we're getting into here, you know?
Yeah. So we're going to do the whole buttery bucket of popcorn. And now she's gone to a couple football games. She was at the University of Delaware football game a couple weekends ago.
Okay.
And was really dialed in until just after halftime.
You did pretty good. You made it to the third quarter.
Right. We 5 minutes into the third quarter. So it says we'll take it, you know, and it's good progress. So I would imagine she does love Moana. She'll be pretty locked in for this. I bet.
Are you bringing the baby?
No.
Okay, yeah.
That's going to stay home.
Same thing here. Yeah, we got a lot to figure out here. Yep.
All right. So we also have a lot to figure out with week 13 of the NFL. We have a heavyweight fight that's not looking like a heavyweight anymore on Sunday Night Football. But we do have a 425 heavyweight fight on Sunday. We have a key AFC North divisional matchup that will be fun to look back on with Hard Knocks, which I think is starting up again. The in-season stuff, isn't that like right?
I forget about that until you mention it. Yeah. Is it the AFC North? Is that the plan?
It's the whole AFC North. Yeah. So Steelers, Bengals, that'll be in the spotlight there. We have a Thanksgiving showcase, a Black Friday showcase. We got a lot of games to preview and a lot of games to pick because there's no teams on bye because the NFL decided we're going to play 4 games on 4 days this week. So we need all hands on deck. Nobody's getting a bye in week 13.
Yeah. No Thanksgiving off for anybody. So
let's get started with the early game. This could be a compelling game. I'm glad we get a chance to see a team like Detroit. 12:30, they're hosting the Bears, and they are favored by 10.5 points. The spreads are all courtesy of the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You and I, Joe, are previewing the game and picking who we think is going to win the game. The show with their roster power rankings that we set with all of our content for like 8 weeks in the summertime is deciding the spreads. We've got a formula and apply it here.
The Bears played Detroit fairly competitive. That's been a trend for them, and Detroit's got some injuries in the secondary. Don't care. Dan Campbell 0-3 on Thanksgiving.
Not anymore.
They've been after him on that. They've been trying to bait him a little bit. You know he knows that. He's not going to let you know that he cares, but I promise you he cares.
So Chicago has played admirably. They took Minnesota to overtime last week. I just don't think they have the trench play to keep pace with Detroit here. I think that Detroit offensive line with a running game, Chicago's offensive line trying to block, like to stay balanced offensively. I think they're going to have to get a little one-dimensional offensively, and that's even with the injuries at the secondary for Detroit. I'm with you all the way. I'm taking Detroit to win the game, and the show actually likes Detroit to cover 10.5.
All right.
Dallas, fresh off a dub. Dallas beat the Commanders in Washington.
Tough game to reconcile.
Makes sense.
Can't.
And now they got the Giants, who got smoked by the Bucs at home last week. Dallas is favored by 3.5 points. Your favorite analyst, Rex Ryan, I thought had some great words on the state of affairs of the New York Giants. I don't know if you caught him or not.
No, I didn't. Enlighten me.
He effectively said that the Giants were lifeless and the Giants had nobody to thank but themselves because they made the decision to willingly sit the best quarterback because he's owed $10 million, and that's effectively quitting on the team this early in the season, and the Giants acted accordingly, and they got exactly what they deserve.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Now, Tommy Cutlets, his whole body's sore, he said. Whole body, Kyle. Whole body's sore.
It's going to be sore again because I'm picking the Cowboys.
We're picking the Cowboys, right? The home team that has they're lifeless but showed life. We'll go with Dallas, right?
Right. The show likes the Cowboys at home to cover a 3.5 point spread. Packers Dolphins.
Happy Thanksgiving.
No, I'd be very thankful for a non-stressful holiday,
brother.
I gotta wait all day.
This is not what.
And then it's a high stakes game for Miami.
You're not getting any of that stress-free Thanksgiving. This is stress.
And then I gotta work afterwards. I'm gonna be in a tryptophan coma and trying to do a post-game show.
Brother, I know it. I had 3 Thanksgiving games in my tenure of Locked On Bills. So
I can tell you, a lot of the Dolphins are excited to kill the narratives.
They should be, right?
Go to a cold weather game, and you know, for a team that the past 2 years has started 8-3 and kind of backed in at the end, I kind of like that this is the situation that they find themselves in. Because if you're going to do the thing, like, you got to earn it and go do the thing. And that means you're going to have to win a game like this somewhere along the way. Mm-hmm. And if you're not going to do that, and it's just going to be the same pattern as the last 2 years, then like, what's really the point, right? So I'm excited for the opportunity for this team to play up to a team in a cold weather environment, in a primetime game, and this, that, the other thing on a short week. I think they're capable of doing it, but I do think the elements and being on the road on a short week is a really tough draw. I like some of the matchups for Miami against the Packers defensively, especially with them looking like they're going to be down Jair Alexander. Edge Cooper looks like he's going to be down again. But I struggle to see a world in which they're able to heat up Jordan Love and force him to make the kind of mistakes that I think they're going to need to win the football game. So I'm going to pick the Packers to win the game.
Man, I wish I felt better about the way Jordan Love was playing. I really do. And I've been complimentary of the Dolphins defense, I think, for like a month now. I really like what they have cooking. Chop is heating up.
But Chop's heating up against some guy who's not going to be in the league next year at right tackle for the Patriots. And I'm not diminishing what Chop is doing, but my question is, when you go play Zach Tom, what does that look like?
Well,
that's a great list. It's a great litmus test game for Chop Robinson.
I look forward to Touchdown Miami's coverage of that matchup in particular. Yeah, I'm sure I will. Okay, so here's the thing: is if I pick the Dolphins, that means the Packers are going to win. Because anytime I've gone against you on the Dolphins this year, I've been wrong about that. Oh, I'm picking the Packers, but I might come back at the buzzer on this one.
Okay. The show likes the Dolphins to cover 3.5. It's been a steady 3.5 the entire time. Usually like it. Moved. Yeah, which I think is interesting because a lot of times you'll get the half-point yo-yo on like a touchdown difference or a field goal difference. It is held firm at 3.5 all week.
You know what? I think I'm going to stick with the Packers because of something you said to me in the pre-show about not having Austin Jackson and how that's affected their run game. And they got they got some Gary and Van Ness and like a lot of guys that can kind of really win on the edge there. Is Ingold going to play?
Ingold played last week, but because the game script went the way that it did, he only played like 9 snaps. So it's like that's the hard thing about figuring out where Miami's run game is at right now is, Austin Jackson hurts him, but how much can you make up for it with having Alec Ingold back after 2 games? Like, we don't really know because he really didn't play because he didn't need him to against the Pats.
That's gonna. I'm glad we have this game. This is going to be something to look forward to on Thursday. Maybe compelling. Not for it's stress for. I get it for both Packers and Dolphins fans, but for like football fans, like this is a freaking good matchup, dude. Especially when you think about Coach Weaver against Matt LaFleur. You kidding me? I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Can we just pick the Chiefs and move on here and get past the Black Friday?
Yeah. The show also likes the Chiefs to cover 12.5 because of the quarterback situation in Las Vegas.
All right, so we're both picking the Chiefs over the Raiders. All right, coming up, the 1 o'clock Sunday slate and more. Be sure to stick with us. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. All you do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. They got a great deal here for you on Thanksgiving. Basically a free square. Tyreek Hill, Dolphins receiver, just needs 0.5 receiving yards
for
the projection to hit. I think that's going to happen. Might happen on the first drive. If you're correct on at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. PrizePicks also puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get money in as quick as 15 minutes, and I love this. PrizePicks now offers Venmo for quick and easy deposits and withdrawals into your account this season. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download that app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Folks, do you struggle to find the perfect gift during the holidays? Maybe gift giving isn't your love language. You overthink it. You wind up with something disappointing, or maybe nothing at all. Well, we got the perfect gift for you, the Skylight Frame. It's a touchscreen digital photo frame that your entire family will love. You can upload thousands of photos with your phone and watch them appear in seconds. I love that. It only takes a tap of your phone to send new photos to a frame across the country. We bought one for my mother-in-law last year at Christmas time. She loves it. We send pictures right to it all the time. It is the fastest and easiest way to keep your loved ones in the loop. They will feel so much more connected to you. And the touchscreen is a game changer. You can swipe through photos, tap to see new photos sent in, and you can also tap the heart button if you really like a picture to send a thank you to the sender. We have one at our house. My wife is very particular about, what's going on the counters, and it looks good. It's in our kitchen. It's beautiful. The photos are displayed in HD resolution, and you can choose from 5 different frame styles. And now we got a special limited time offer for our listeners. You get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NFL. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/NFL. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/NFL.
So we have a really interesting AFC, NFC matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and the LA Chargers. Chargers on a short week playing a physical Ravens team without J.K. Dobbins, have to travel West Coast to East Coast for a 1 o'clock kick to play Atlanta, who was on a bye last week.
Yeah.
I think that's the most compelling case you can make for Atlanta in this game. Because I think the Chargers are playing significantly better football. But, the rest advantage is the most extreme the most extreme version of it as you can get in the NFL.
Right. First of all, let's acknowledge that this is the Michael Turner Bowl. Remember that guy? 5'10", 245 pounds.
Burner Michael Turner.
Hey,
Yeah.
What a fun player. Come up with the Chargers. You kind of knew he was good. He goes to the Falcons, has some monster years. So we got to shout that out. I don't know what to think of the Falcons, man. I don't know what to think of them. They disappoint me so much, and then I watch them, and they feel like they're a pretty decent team.
And then they buy out, and then they start winning again.
Highly annoying.
It's twice already, and it's only week 13.
Highly annoying operation. I just think the Chargers play a winning brand of football. I know that they didn't beat Baltimore, and there was some issues there with kind of how their front was able to match up with Baltimore. They just play a winning script. They don't turn it over. They take it away. They're just a sound team. I'll take the sound team coming off of a loss again over a high variance operation with the Falcons.
I agree with you. I am going to pick the Chargers as well. The show likes the Chargers to cover -1.5 on the road in Atlanta as well. So that is the kiss of death for the Chargers for sure.
Yeah.
After we just got done saying, hey, most extreme rest advantage that you can get, and we picked against the home team. Yeah. So it's a rest advantage with a West Coast team coming east for a 1 o'clock kick, and we all just took the West Coast team and pretend that's not going to happen. So don't be surprised. If you were ever going to fade us on a pick on this show, this might be the one.
I'm surprised we agree. It's not a bad to go different. If you wanted to go different, it's not a bad one to go different. But it's just like the Falcons.
But I just have no confidence in Atlanta right now with the
No
two
pass
games
rush.
that they played. They got smoked by Denver,
Right.
and then they lost to the Saints. Like
They lost to Seattle. To Seattle in Atlanta by 20.
Really bad. They've had some really bad stretches of play, and they're not going to heat up the quarterback. We know that. We went over that yesterday on the mock draft show.
Right. They're not going to do it.
Colts visiting New England to play the Patriots. Colts are favored by 2.5 points, Joe, as the Colts coming off of a dismantling at the hands of the Detroit Lions, and the Patriots coming off of a dismantling at the hands of the Miami Dolphins.
Colts are the better team. They're more talented.
Are they?
I like their front. Yeah, I like the Colts defensive front. I like their skill play. I like a lot of the Colts. I don't love their secondary, and obviously Richardson needs to settle in. I just think they got better players. I'm going with the Colts.
I'm going with the Pats at home.
Let's go.
I'll go with the Pats at home. And the gut feeling here that I have is that New England is capable. I think they will be capable of running the ball and be better represented than what they were against Miami. Yes.
Colts got some horses up front, man. Their front seven's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I think Drake May is going to get some shots down the field off of play action pass. And he's going to hit some plays. And I actually think Anthony Richardson is the more high variance of the two quarterbacks.
All right. I'm satisfied
traveling on the road to play a defensive scheme that can change the picture on you. You got to be able to process post snap.
Man,
give me the Pats.
Did you do that for Tim? Was that for Tim, Kyle?
That was it.
He's still watching. He left a YouTube comment the other day. He can't quit us.
Can't quit us.
He can't quit.
Just leaving all the mean tweets in the world, and yet here he is after all these years, still tuning in. There you go, Tim. I dedicate my Patriots pick to you.
Let's go.
So we can be different on a game before we hit the 20-minute mark on the program. The Texans visiting Jacksonville. Texans on the road favored by 4.5 points. They are this year's leader in the clubhouse for team that makes the playoffs by default, but not playing good ball at the end of the year if this keeps up. Now they will have a chance to right the ship, but just about every metric that I have seen that has come out about Houston and the way they're playing right now is they are not very well represented in just about any measure of successful football.
Yeah, and the eyeballs confirm that as well. Dude, you'd love to pick against a Houston team on the road, but there's one problem. It's the Jaguars.
Right.
Dude, that you want to talk just defensively, just absolute disaster. Houston's, I know it's a division game on the road. This has to be a get-right game for Houston.
You want the twist of all twists?
Of course.
The show does like Jacksonville at home to cover 4.5.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame the show.
So that is the second dog that the show is on this week, in addition to Miami on the road plus 3.5 to cover.
How about this next one? Jeez.
Seahawks Jets. Okay, so Seattle coming off a big win. The first place Seattle Seahawks?
Changes pretty much every day.
I'm fairly certain that Seattle is in first place in the NFC West.
I think it's Arizona.
No, because they just beat Arizona.
Hold on. We need to confirm this. I'm pulling up the ESPN NFL standings.
This
Seattle's number one. They're number one.
Yeah, they're first place right now. So right now, there's a playoff team going to New York to play the Jets. Seattle favored by 1.5 points on the road. The Jets are coming off of their bye. Before their bye, they lost to the Colts in their latest version of how can we lose in the most heartbreaking way possible with the Anthony Richardson return to the lineup 2 weeks ago.
I don't have a lot of great reasons to pick either team, but this is what I'm going to root myself into. Geno Smith revenge game.
Ooh, I like that. I don't have a lot of confidence in Seattle being able to block Quinnen Williams and Will McDonald up front. I think that's the biggest concern I have for Seattle in this game. as another West Coast team that is coming east to play a 1 o'clock kick against a game that's coming off a bye. I'm going to pick the Jets.
Okay.
I'm not going to ignore all of the signs for 2 straight games.
Hope you got it the right ones, though.
With a home team coming off a bye, right?
But it's the Jets and the Falcons.
I get it.
The freaking Jets, man.
We got to pick all the games, unfortunately.
I know.
Not a very attractive option. The show also likes the Jets at home plus 1.5. You want to go to break and then we'll do this
Steelers, Bengals.
North game?
Steelers, Bengals, the rest of them on the other side of it. Be sure to stick with us. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. And folks, all the lines that we are talking about right now on this podcast came courtesy of FanDuel. So if you see something you're like, get in on that action. Plus, don't miss out on the live betting. It's super fun. When you're watching these games on Thanksgiving, add another layer to it. If you think someone's going to catch a pass, you think they're going to score a touchdown, whatever you think it is, you could bet on drive results as well. So head on over to FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
This is really just a 30-minute ad for FanDuel, if you think about it.
I mean, I like picking the games, but yeah. And I usually go to FanDuel. I've already got a couple bets in on this.
You have any money line dogs you like this week?
Yeah, I do. It's coming up here in a few minutes.
Wow, what a tease. All right, well, let's get into it then. Steelers visiting Cincinnati. Joe, did you typo this or is this factual? The Bengals are favored at home by 2.5 points.
Let me double check. No, I'm 99% sure that I got this correct, but it is worth a double check here. The Cincinnati Bengals are 2.5 point home favorites over the Steelers. Yes, can confirm.
Okay. I'm going to pick the Steelers to win the game.
Yeah, Cincinnati's just going to be too one-dimensional, right?
They can't run the ball. Pittsburgh's pass rush against the offensive line of Cincinnati is horrifying.
Right.
Pittsburgh's going to has the ability to gash them in the run game. Now, I don't know, do you know what the over is for this game for game total points? I'd probably take the over.
47.5.
I'd probably lean more towards the over than putting, you know what? I'd probably take Pittsburgh plus 2.5 and feel really good about it. I'd take Pittsburgh on the money line because I'm picking them to win the game.
Get a plus one. You can get the money line at plus 132.
That's very surprising to me.
Right.
I guess Cincinnati's coming off of a bye, but Pittsburgh's coming off of playing on Thursday and is off an ugly loss in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I would imagine that team's going to be really eager to get right.
Division games, man, though.
Yep, they're weird. I don't know. What do you? How do you reconcile Cincinnati minus 2.5? Like, what do you think the logic is there, other than just Joe Burrow's playing really well?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what a lot of it is. I think that's probably it, man. It's Joe Burrow at home in a division game. Like I probably am going to go and put a little cash on the Steelers money line in this game.
The irony here is that the show does like the Bengals at home.
The Steelers have won 3 of the last 4 in this series as well. They won them both last year. 34-11, 16-10. You know, the Steelers beat them about 100 times in a row as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, before Burrow showed up.
And a little bit during Burrow as well.
Yeah. All right. So any other thoughts on the statistical outlier line here with this game, or
no? I think Pittsburgh matches up pretty well. I'm surprised by it.
Tennessee at Washington. Washington favored by 5.5 points at home. Will Levis playing a little better.
Yep. Kyle, this is the one I like. I like Tennessee in this one.
As like outright?
Outright. I got cash on the money line here. Odds are it's going to be a good payout for me. Plus 215.
The confidence. It's going to be a good payout for me.
Yeah, I hate the match. Here's the thing about Washington, dude. They're becoming the team that I thought they were at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They just don't have the dudes, man. And Tennessee can play good defense. They can stop the run, right?
And they're getting more stable quarterback play.
They're getting more stable quarterback play. They're hungry, right? It's year one under Cal. I know the same things are true for Quinn. I just feel like these teams are kind of going opposite directions. I like Tennessee on the road. I really do.
And I thought this was going to be a hot take, but I'm also on Tennessee. And the show is on Tennessee to cover plus 5.5. I think that's one of the better values we've done so far is Tennessee plus 5.5.
See if it happens, man. People call me a Titans hater, but here I am.
We are. The whole show. Loving on the Titans this week. The Cardinals off a big letdown game in Seattle. Now your consolation prize to that is you got to go to Minnesota to play the Vikings at home, who are favored by 3.5 points.
Isn't Kyler as like a chaos merchant? Don't you kind of like sort of like him against this defense?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of space to be had on the back end if he can. So the challenge.
Matador.
You think Flores just like doesn't blitz him now? They'll show all the same stuff, but they might rush 3 and drop 8. Because that was the plan they hit Philly with last year. You remember that game?
Yeah, I watched it with an Eagles fan. I did.
Yeah. And it was like they either brought +1 to what you had in protection, or they played drop 8. And they played a lot more, like disproportionately more drop 8. And because Hurts didn't make quick decisions with the ball to get it out on time to wherever like the free access check down was, they had nothing to work with. And like that would be how I would probably try to play Arizona if I was Minnesota. I would show a lot of pressure and rush very minimal and try to contain rush and force them to make fast, consistent decisions on time to get the ball to underneath receivers.
The reason I'm picking Minnesota, partly that, but also this is the best rushing defense in the NFL probably. And Arizona's got to run the ball. It's big part of their menu offensively. I don't think they'll be able to do it against Minnesota. Give me the Vikes.
I'm also on the Vikings. The show likes the Vikings to cover at home -3.5 as well. So the whole show is on Minnesota. Tampa -5.5 in Carolina against a scrappy Panthers team.
I just think Tampa is going to be able to score, right? That's going to be the problem here for Carolina.
Carolina just scored 27 against Kansas City.
Yeah, I know, and they left a lot of points on the board.
Right.
The Bucs have a better offense, Kyle. I mean, go ahead, baby. Keep pounding. I'm going with the Bucs.
I'm not picking them to win the game. I think it will be a I don't think this is a boat race game though. I think this will actually be like a competitive game.
I don't disagree with that, but I think the Bucs are smelling that opportunity to go win this division despite losing 2 to Atlanta.
They're probably going to be 9-8 and winning again, right? Like
right.
They're smelling it right now.
I like this. Like Baker's got a fire in him this year, man. Not that he doesn't always, but it's just something about him I just really like.
Playing with that chip on his shoulder.
Bucky Irving.
Yeah, Bucky Irving's a good play. It's been fun to see him. Well, he's like number 2 in the NFL and behind, I think, only Tyrone Tracy for rushing yards from rookies right now.
Imagine if he didn't have to like share the load with Sean Tucker and Rashad White.
And you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure on the rookies, the rookie rushing rankings, I'm pretty sure spots 3 through 6 are all quarterbacks. It's right. Tyrone Tracy, Bucky Irving, and then it's like Jaden, Bo, Caleb, and Drake May. And then I think it's like Jalen Wright is number 7 with like 235 or something like that.
Yeah, I think Ray Davis has like 244.
Yeah. So
not the year of the rookie running back. It's the year of the veteran paid running back.
And the athletic rookie quarterbacks.
There it is.
The show is going to take Carolina plus 5.5 at home. But We're both on the Bucs to win the game. Now we're into the 4:00 slate. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 games we got to pick in reasonably fast fashion. I think the good news is the first one will be a fast one for us because we got the Rams -3 in New Orleans against the Saints. Saints off a bye.
Do you have any convictions on this game?
Rams.
Okay, I'll pick the Rams too.
And the show likes the Rams to cover. They're right in the thick of it in the West. They played Philly tough until down the stretch. New Orleans got a little bit of a bump from Darren Rizzi. They upset the Browns a couple weeks ago. They spanked them, really. So I'm not buying the newfound success of New Orleans with 2 straight wins before their bye. Philly at Baltimore, 425. I might find an excuse to buy a ticket to this game. I'm going to be honest.
It wouldn't be a bad one to get to, man.
Oh, man.
I'm picking Philly. The reason I'm picking Philly is I think that Baltimore will be able to score for sure, but what it comes down to is Philly's ability to throw the ball is the difference in this game. I think both teams will have their issues running it. Fangio's playing all the light boxes, dialing up some pressure. I think with the way that their secondary is playing, I'm just leaning into Philly here. And Baltimore just kind of been a sloppy team at times. They have a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties, a lot of drops. I think the Eagles will play a more fundamentally sound game and win it.
I want to pick Philly, but I think I'm going to pick Baltimore. I think structure the big concern for Baltimore defensively is covering AJ Brown, right? And that's they're really struggling with the pass defense. But I think structurally, Baltimore against a Fangio defense that lives in light boxes, I think there's going to be a lot of ahead of the chain down and opportunities for Baltimore in this game because of just the ideological structure of how Fangio plays defense.
Hadn't given up 100 yards rushing in 6 straight games.
I understand that. You haven't played the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm on Baltimore. The show likes Philly +3. Joe is on Philly outright. I'll go down with the ship. But that's my gut is Baltimore home. Have you ever been to a Ravens game at home?
No.
I'm going to give a little love to the Ravens fans. I was there when Miami had the big comeback win in the week 2 or week 3, whatever it was in 2022. That place is loud. They get raucous. They're like Philly gets all the love for their fans, and rightfully so. And I'm sure there'll be some good Philly representation because it's a hop, skip, and a jump away. But I am on board with that Baltimore game day experience. They got great fans down there, so I think that'll help. Just don't ask a key Justin Tucker kick. He ain't been making them this year.
Right, him and Evan McPherson lost.
What draft pick would you trade for?
Kyle. I'll sign some guy from Australia.
Bills Sunday Night Football home against the 49ers with a skeleton crew in San Francisco coming across the country to play after they just got smoked by Green Bay last weekend.
Yeah, Bills off the bye. This is a weird situation. How many East Coast teams are coming off of bye playing West Coast teams?
A lot.
Yeah, it's like 3 times. This game's only interesting if Purdy plays, right? You would think?
Yes.
And who knows if he's going to play.
I don't think San Francisco is playing particularly well in general, though, like even with Purdy.
The thing about San Francisco is I've just started to scratch the surface on my studies of them this week. They're still they're top 8 in yards per run, yards per pass, defensive yards per, all the metrics are good. They're 5 and 6.
Yeah. McCaffrey's not looking anywhere near as explosive as he was last year.
No.
So it's been a hardship for them too.
Bills off the bye as well. McDermott's 7-0 off the bye.
So we're both on the Bills. The show does like San Francisco +6.5, assuming Brock Purdy plays. Cleveland at Denver. Last game, Monday Night Football. Denver at home favored by 5.5 points. Denver. I think their defense will have a lot of success. I think the only worry is that Myles Garrett matchup with the rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. If they can find a way to get a lot of hot pressure, I think that's their ticket to winning this game, because I do think Jameis can score some points. But Denver's playing really well defensively right now, and I'm with you. And the show likes the Browns to cover plus 5.5.
Could be a 3 turnover game for the Browns offense.
Yeah.
That's what it was about. Yeah.
So there you go. There's all the games. We picked all the games. We hope you enjoyed this look at week 13 of the 2024 NFL season. I'm Kyle Krabs. He's Joe Marino. You can find us on YouTube wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Make it a great rest of your day. We have takes on Friday. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the football that awaits, and we'll talk to you all on